if you don't have institutions, then you have brute force, and just the direct application of brute force. Brute force, it can take different forms. It can be through what we think of as force, violence, kind of the strength, strength, I guess. There's another form of brute force, which is charisma, beauty, in a way. Like violence and beauty are sort of the two ways you get things done just with raw effect right around you. When you deinstitutionalize, you get charisma and violence as your two paths. And influencers are largely present themselves as the charisma side, but then what actually gets ranked or promoted by the social media algorithm, which you start out following because that attractive person is doing something attractive, but then what it feeds you next is this frightening person is about to do violence to you. And they're intertwined, right? And the algorithm just feeds you a diet of both, and whichever you click on more, it's like, oh, we'll give you some more of that, but have a side helping of this other thing. A friend of mine had a chance to be with the pastor Bill Hybels at the height of Bill Hybels' influence and apparent success, and my friend felt like the question to ask him was, how do you handle the power that comes with your position? Which seemed to my friend like a fairly appropriate question. And Hybels' answer was, we don't have power in this church. We are all servant leaders. Now, I am going to grant Bill Hybels the benefit of the doubt and suppose that was a sincere answer. That is, he was not intentionally misleading. But it struck me as the most incredibly naive answer from this person who, in fact, carried himself with quite distressing amounts of power and wielded it, we now know, in certain settings, or we have good reason to believe, very exploitative ways. But even aside from that, which I didn't know at all at the time, or I didn't know the specific acts of exploitation that got him eventually dismissed, but like the idea that Bill Hybels didn't have power, that he could tell himself that, was just, and that other people around him would say, oh, indeed, what a gift it is to be in a place without power. It's just like, well, what are you talking about?
When I think about like the kinds of leaders that are needed for that kind of work, for that level and degree of responsibility, I want to know, one, have they suffered enough? And have they suffered well during that time? Because that is, if they have, then that is the crucible that creates the virtue and the character, where that advice is both actually and perceived as not just advice, but testimony. Like, because if you don't have that, I don't know, the scars maybe to back it up, and not just, but, and this is where the victim piece I think is important, is like, it is not just the fact of suffering or the experience of suffering that creates character. It's how we respond to it and what we do with.
We take these secular trends and we think, oh, look at, this is terrible. Our young people are abandoning, or whatever. It's like, young people are abandoning everything. They're abandoning college. They're abandoning work. They're abandoning marriage. Yes, they are also abandoning church. But it's a broader deinstitutionalization, collapse of institutions.